I never wanted to move into the house on the hill. Even from a distance, it had the kind of appearance that made your stomach turn, like a rotting fruit that looked fine on the outside until you leaned close enough to smell the sourness beneath its skin. It stood at the very end of a cracked, narrow road, surrounded by skeletal trees that seemed to bend toward it, as if drawn in by some invisible pull. But my mother, she loved it immediately. "This house's character," she whispered the first time we stood before its tall, black windows. Her voice carried the same reverence she used whenever she prayed at night, murmuring softly while she thought I was asleep. "It feels alive." Alive wasn't the word I would have chosen. The place was too big for just the two of us, with too many corners where shadows could hide, too many doors that led to places you didn't want to go. Its walls were painted the dull yellow of old teeth, and the roof sagged like it was tired of holding itself up. But Mother smiled in that peculiar way she had, her thin lips stretching too wide across her face. She was pale, with a beauty that unsettled more than it soothed, and when she said something was good for us, I never argued. At least, not out loud. Father had died when I was too young to remember him, and it was always just the two of us. She said we were bound together by more than blood, that we shared a soul, a single life between us. Sometimes, in the middle of the night, she would sit at the edge of my bed, stroke my hair, and whisper, "If you die, I die. And if I die, you'll wish you had died with me." Those words used to chill me. I never understood why she said them. But now, thinking back, I wonder if she was warning me. The first day we moved into the house, I noticed something strange. In the corner of the living room, behind the fireplace, there was a mirror. Not a beautiful one. Its glass was scratched, the frame chipped and blackened, as though it had been burned in a fur.
I stared at it, uneasy. My reflection looked wrong. My eyes seemed darker, my mouth thinner, and for just a moment I could swear my mother wasn't standing behind me, even though she really was. I told her I didn't like it, that we should cover it up. She only pressed her cold hand on my shoulder and said, "You'll get used to it. We must never cover mirrors, darling. They are doors. If you close them, things get trapped on the other side." I didn't understand then what she meant, but the way she looked at the mirror, with a strange longing, as if she were waiting for someone to step through, I realized she believed it. That night, I heard the first sound. It came from the upstairs hallway, a dragging noise, slow and deliberate, like someone pulling a heavy sack across the floorboards. My room was on the second floor, and the sound moved just beyond my door, pausing every few steps. Mother was asleep, or so I thought. I wanted to scream, to call for her, but something inside me said not to. Instead, I pulled the blanket over my head and listened as the dragging sound stopped directly outside my door. Then came the whisper. A woman's voice. Not my mother's. Lower. Rougher. As if it came from a throat too dry to speak. It called my name. The next morning, I told my mother what I had heard. I expected her to laugh at me, to tell me it was the house settling or rats in the walls. But she didn't. Instead, she grew very still, her fork frozen halfway to her lips. "You must never open your door at night," she said softly, as if she were telling me a secret. Her eyes flicked toward the ceiling, to the hallway above us, and for a moment, her expression was not fear, but something closer to amusement. I didn't like it. When I pressed her for more, what was out there who had whispered my name, she only smiled. That smile of hers again, too wide, too sharp, as though her face was stretching into a mask. "This house has been waiting for us," she whispered. "It knows us already. It knows you." Her words made me lose my appetite. Later that day, while she was unpacking in the kitchen, I wandered into the basement. The door was hidden behind the staircase, half covered by a curtain of old cobwebs. The air was damp, heavy with the scent of mildew. The steps creaked as I descended. At the bottom, the room was enormous, filled with forgotten furniture draped in yellowing sheets. But what caught my eye wasn't the furniture. It was the wall. A section of stone had been carved with dozens of marks, scratches, like fingernails dragging through mortar. Some were words, though broken and incomplete. The one I could read most clearly was a name. My name. I ran upstairs to tell my mother. But when I found her, She was already standing at the top of the basement stairs, blocking my way. Her face was pale, her eyes wide with a strange kind of joy. "You went down there, didn't you?" she asked. Her voice trembled with excitement, not anger. "Did you see it? Did it call to you?" I shook my head, terrified. Her smile widened. "Don't lie to me, darling. The house wouldn't show you unless it wanted to." That night, I woke to find her sitting in the chair by my bed, staring at me. Not asleep. Not moving. Just staring. Her lips twitched like she was whispering to herself, though no sound came out. I pretended to be asleep until dawn, and when the first light filled the room, she leaned close and whispered into my ear. "You heard her again last night, didn't you? Don't worry. Soon you'll understand. Soon she'll show herself." Chapter 3. The whisper grows louder. Each night, the dragging sound returned, always stopping at my door, always followed by that dry, rasping whisper calling my name. I stopped sleeping, but my mother seemed to thrive. Her skin grew paler, her eyes brighter, as if the house was feeding her. One morning, I asked if she was the one whispering. She only laughed low and strange and said, "If it was me, darling, you'd already be gone." Chapter 4. The room behind the mirror. One evening, I found my mother standing before the scorched mirror in the living room. She was whispering words I didn't understand. Her fingers pressed flat against the glass. And then I saw it. A shadow inside the mirror, a woman-shaped figure standing just behind my mother. It moved when she didn't. It grinned when she was silent. When I gasped, my mother turned, eyes blazing. "Don't look at her unless she calls you. If you answer too early, she'll take you instead of me." Chapter 5. The Basement Secret. I went back to the basement, desperate for answers. The scratches on the wall were clearer now, as if freshly carved. My name appeared again and again. And then, beneath the dust, I found a box. Inside were photographs, children, dozens of them, each with their eyes scratched out. In one photo, I saw my mother as a young girl, standing beside a woman who looked exactly like the shadow in the mirror. Scrawled across the back, "One daughter must always remain." Chapter 6. Mother's Confession. That night I confronted her. "Who is she?" I demanded. Mother's smile broke. For the first time, I saw fear in her. She whispered, "She's my mother. And now she wants you." I froze. She gripped my wrist with bone-white fingers. "Every daughter in our family must give herself to her eventually. I escaped by giving you instead. But she's growing impatient." Chapter 7. The First Attack. That night, the whisper turned into pounding. My door rattled violently. The dragging sound was no longer slow. It was furious, desperate. I screamed for my mother. She came, but instead of helping, she unlocked the door. The figure slipped in, tall, thin, with hair like wet ropes, skin gray and sagging. Its mouth opened unnaturally wide, and it spoke in my mother's voice. "Come to me, child. You are mine." Chapter 8. Flight. I ran. Downstairs, out the front door, into the night. But the trees bent toward me, branches clawing like hands. Behind me, I heard both voices, my mother's and the shadows, calling my name in perfect unison. I stumbled into the basement again, as though the house itself dragged me back. The mirror stood there now, not upstairs, its black glass pulsing like a living heart. Chapter 9. The Bargain. Mother appeared behind me, her face hollow, her eyes wild. "Don't you see? If you go through, she'll leave me. You'll save me." Her voice cracked, almost pleading. "I carried you for this, darling. You were never meant to live free. You were meant to take my place." The shadow reached through the mirror, gray fingers stretching for me. Chapter 10. The Ending. I had two choices, surrender or fight. When my mother shoved me toward the mirror, something broke inside me. I grabbed the box of photos and hurled it into the glass. The mirror cracked, splintering into a web of black fractures. The shadow screamed, its voice like shattering stone. My mother screamed too. Hers was worse, full of rage and betrayal. She clawed at me, but the fractured glass pulled her in piece by piece, until only her voice remained. Silence followed. The mirror was gone. The house was still. But when I looked at my reflection in the window that night, I saw her, my mother, standing just behind me, smiling wider than ever. And now, every night, I hear the whisper in my own voice.